Hey guys, Dragon Ball for Life here today, and I'm back with another video. Now today's video we're going to be reacting to another Saiyan Scholar video called Super Saiyan Blue Evolved is Dreadful. Now I reacted to I think it was 2 days ago his last video on the Dragon Ball Super manga, which covered the second part of the Tournament of Power. That's what I reacted to, and he stated that he's going to go into the Moro arc, so I was like, I'll wait for that. I knew that he was going to drop it out at some point soon because I did see on his, community post that he was going to be dropping out his next, video on the Moro arc. So I was like, I can't wait to see that. Also, my last video that I made, a part 2 of, the Tournament of Power, it's been getting quite a lot of, views. It got over 300 views already, and I just want to give you guys a big thank you for viewing that. Though I'm kind of wondering why the first part only has like half the amount, even though the first part had majority of his explanation and me talking in that one. The second part was like a lot shorter. The first one had a lot more meat to it and a lot more stuff I discussed about it than the second one. So I'm not saying that you guys should just go view that, but I'm just wondering the thought process of that. Like, you skipped the first part and went to the second part. Like, how does that work? But whatever. I'm still happy and thankful that you guys viewed my that video, and it's over 300 views right now. I just want to keep on producing content for you guys that you guys want. I know you guys watch these the most, so I want to ask you guys right now, what type of content do you guys want me to drop out? What type of videos do you want? Give me any suggestions for videos you want me to react to or topics you want me to talk about, because I'll definitely do it. I want to produce videos that you guys like. I also want to do videos that I just want to do, but I want to specifically make videos for you guys that you guys want, because I see how much you enjoyed the last one, and I want to drop out videos that you guys would really, prefer. Because if I'm going to be doing this and making videos, I want to do something that has some meaning to it that you guys want, instead of just making something that you guys probably wouldn't care about. So yeah, once again, big thank you to all of you guys for the viewing. Thank you for all the subscribing, commenting, liking and stuff. It's been helping out my channel grow. I can't wait until I hit the 100 benchmark. I'm gonna be super excited, and then once when I hit the 500, I can finally make some community posts for you guys. So yeah, let's get into it.
Welcome to the Moro arc of this Dragon Ball Super manga power scale. Oh yeah, by now I think you know it's the manga only. Hit the like if you're excited to see how strong the characters will get in this arc, and be sure to subscribe for more Dragon Ball content like this. Moro is a complex villain to measure in a raw power scale because he also uses magic combined with raw power to enhance his threat level. What you must notice is that even after Moro wishes for his full magic to be returned, he still continues to grow in physical prowess by absorbing energy from planets and people. How this is shown is through the slow removal of his beard to his clean-shaven self, as he's portrayed 10 million years before in his prime. That clean-shaven Moro has peak magic and peak physical prowess. So for my interpretation, I give Moro 2 readings, raw power and then magic amplified. Think of his magic like a multiplier technique to his overall power, where the resulting scaling number is the equivalent threat level to someone who has that raw power number. But ultimately in Dragon Ball, the end result is always power, no matter the difference in fighter styles. At the start of the arc, we see Goku and Vegeta continue to train with each other, so as explained before, their power is at 10 quadrillion at the start of the arc. Soon after, Goku and Vegeta embark on an adventure to stop Moro. Goku senses Moro for the first time and states his chi wasn't huge, but terrifying, how it represents a mass of slaughtered souls and planets. Vegeta also refers to his energy as ominous. It's not stronger than Vegeta, just sinister and doomy. And it's not God Ki. And remember, this is Moro, as he says, in his most pathetic state. During Moro vs Vegeta on planet Namek, Moro uses energy of the planet to attack with special moves. So those attacks aren't really the conventional raw power as such, but his power is still strong enough to summon such moves and wield it. It's an unorthodox style of power, but from what we gather, we know Moro's raw power exceeds Super Saiyan Vegeta, but without magic, he cannot defeat Super Saiyan God Vegeta. Throughout the years, Moro has begun to regain his power, so he's not the puppy dog he was when the Great Lord of Lords sealed him away. When Moro absorbs energy, it improves his physical prowess. He's the Planet Eater after all, right? But he still requires the wish to regain his magic later on. Vegeta is Super Saiyan Blue evolved against Moro, but Moro absorbs the energy of Namek and it's confirmed he is strong to the point Vegeta feels like he needs to hurry.
I just want to say this. I remember when I followed the Moro arc. I didn't follow it as closely as I did with the Granola arc, but I did follow it quite a bit. And if I'm being honest, he's one of the most unique Dragon Ball characters from, his design to his, what he does, his motives, his abilities, his power. He was very unique and creative, but I just feel like they've, messed it up towards the ending. And that's the big problem I have with, Dragon Ball, especially the manga, is they have a good build-up, but then they ended up miserably. And though I would say the Granola arc ended far, far better than the Moro arc, it still ended off pretty bad with bringing in Frieza Black. I think that idea was stupid, but they did Moro so wrong. They did such dirty on this arc. It was so bad. But yeah, it is cool to see, his unique abilities and his techniques. Also the fact that he's kind of like Dragon Ball's Galactus, how he uses that, and that, like people say, you don't have to be the strongest. Sometimes the character just has to have hacks abilities, and he has high power and a certain amount of hacks abilities to do that. Also, the reason why he was weaker, not only because of him being older, but also I think he was kind of more malnourished, and to the point where because unlike us, we need to eat food, he seems to just need to eat energy and planets and stuff like that. And the fact that he was, caged up, he was deprived of that. So I think naturally, this is not just him being weaker because of his age, but also due to the fact that he's deprived of the nutrients that he needs to be stronger. So once when he was absorbing planets, he was regaining more of his strength. It's kind of like him as an old man, but also starving. And he's just filling himself up, and by filling himself up, he's getting stronger, from it. So I think that's the reason why that he would, he was getting better, and why he was saying that he was, meek. But like his argument, what he's stating is because he was very old. But I think it's not just oldness. I think it's also the fact that he was basically starving, and the fact that he was, once when he started feeding himself, he was regaining more of his old age power. That would be the max of his power that he would have at that time.
But what you should know is Moro also absorbed the power of Goku and Vegeta throughout the fight, which actually makes Super Saiyan Blue evolved Vegeta look less impressive against him due to the transfer of energy without the Saiyans knowing. To the point he says he took quite a healthy portion of his power, and Vegeta said he can't even turn Super Saiyan, and Goku says he's totally drained, so Moro gets quite a nasty passive power up here, where we can apply almost all of Super Saiyan Blue evolved Vegeta's power, plus base Goku's power, as those with the current powers being utilized during Moro's absorption. I would say 99% of the power, but that's like Toko level from the Tournament of Power where he couldn't even stand up. So I'll go with a 90% absorption rate. And for reference, right now Moro's magic gives him a 1.5 times amp whenever he uses it. That's his magic multiplier to his performance right now. It does get a lot higher when he gets the wish. The next part is extremely inconsistent because Goku and Vegeta have stated they have absolutely nothing left, not even enough for Goku to use instant transmission. So think about that as Moro sucks them both dry and says, incredible that the energy from a mere pair of beings could restore my body to this extent. Now for me, I see this as him not absorbing Goku and Vegeta's raw combat power, but their actual life energy, what they need to survive, their Genki, which is far more potent than Moro's body upon transfer. Like when Tien uses the Tri-Beam against Cell and
Yeah, he's right. Like I stated, he was malnourished. He got his full power, so that wasn't his old state's full power. That was his old state deprived of energy. So think about it this way: he was still that powerful even when he was, in a completely old state and also completely deprived of energy. And then this is how strong he is, a full powered old version of him, like Demon King Piccolo when he was old. So that proves my point that I was stating. Also, his ability to absorb energy just naturally is, devastating, because usually other characters, they have to touch the person to get it, but the beings that have higher level of energy absorption could just by standing. They usually have an area of circumference where they can absorb it, and in other animes they show it like a big bubble around their body, where if you get to that range, then you will be absorbed. We don't know to what extent Moro's one was, but he could definitely absorb energy at an accelerated rate, because the fact that he was able to take blue evolved Vegeta's energy and Goku's energy to the point that they couldn't even go Super Saiyan, and Goku couldn't. It was struggling to even do instant transmission. He must have absorbed insane amount of energy, and from them fighting, it didn't seem like they were doing that long, like it was hours. So it seems like this is a process that happens within seconds or even minutes of absorption, which is very dangerous. If you put him up against other characters from other fictional universes, because let's be honest, Dragon Ball characters like Goku and Vegeta have high energy reserves. So if he was to fight somebody from another universe, they would have to have an insanely high energy to be able to handle his absorption and end him off before he, completes them. Because if these characters are this powerful and he's able to drain them that quick, that just showcases how, dangerous and how lethal his technique is. Right there with his energy absorption ability. But yeah, the fact that he was able to do that and took these guys out, it is impressive in a lot of ways.
Sacrifices his life energy to go beyond that.
Also, I forgot to mention Genki. Yes, he is right. It is Genki. Genki needs health energy, so he's taking their health. That's what happens with the spirit bomb. So it's basically he's like doing. You don't want Goku use the spirit bomb and absorbs it inside his body against Android Super 13. He's basically doing that, but without creating a spirit bomb, just directly. So yeah, health energy. Not only because regular energy can give you like some vitality, but Genki would give you that vitality, and for him also insane amount of power.
Deep reserve pool of energy to live, basically, and Goku and Vegeta state to die shortly. That juicy energy is like the meat right on the bone, the best part. So because Moro sucked that dry from Goku and Vegeta, I will apply a rough tier boost to go along with his stronger physical prowess and look. Moro says Goku and Vegeta's lives no longer concern him, and rightfully so, his power is above both of them combined. A few days pass and we get to see Namekian fusion in full power. Now let's calculate the Namekian Savior just for fun. We see him merge with 6 other Namekians, but it's made to sound like a lot more, so let's say 20 Namekians merged. I can't remember the exact Namekian merging multiplier, but let's go with a 10 times amp. Let's highball the hell out of the first Namekian and put him as a 1 on this scale, the lowest we can, which is the same as Buu Saga base Goku, which is highly unlikely by the way, but anything's possible in Dragon Ball Super. It would make the final Namekian warrior at 100 quintillion. This is just a rough guess because I can't see the first Namekian alone being above Buu Saga base Goku, and this is going with a merger being a 10 times boost each time. But even 100 quintillion is still a massive power, and just falls short of Final Form Frieza in the manga Tournament of Power. A pretty poetic character comparison for the Namek arc, right? Still, it's nothing compared to Moro. Goku and Vegeta confirm Moro is even stronger than when they fought. They didn't feel his power increase after he absorbed their last life essence, so I won't increase it here again. Now let's talk about the fat Majin Buu. Now, I thought Broly and Ultimate Gohan were busted power jumps for plot convenience, but Fat Buu is up there. Just from having his memories unlocked, he's able to stomp a mud hole in Moro. Buu is so strong, he calls Moro a little weakling, which is one of the funniest bits of dialogue in the franchise. He's talking to Moro of all villains like this. Now, if you think about Buu's power in the Buu Saga, Super Saiyan 3 Goku vs Kid Buu were around 400, the good Buu falls below those two, so even if we went with 300 for the good Buu in the Buu Saga, Buu is now in the octillions. This is a 300 septillion times boost from remembering past events and sleeping. Think about it. This is Dragon Ball Super, ladies and gentlemen. We don't get paid enough to make sense of bad writing. Just accept it and move on.
Yeah, I think that was a lame reason to do that. Personally, I would love to see, Fat Buu become, a big part of it, because I feel like they kind of shafted him quite a bit in Dragon Ball. And I don't know why. I mean, they had him prepared to do, verse 6 versus 7 tournament. Then he passed out and slept. And we've seen before, he slept for like 1 second and thought a whole day passed. So he doesn't need to sleep that long. And then he, after that, when we got to the Tournament of Power, once again he fell asleep. These were excuses just to get him out of the story. Personally, I feel like if they wanted to make him that powerful, they could have just made him train consistently, I feel like a lot of these problems that they make, like giving these guys ridiculous power jumps, they could have been easily solved if they put some time and effort into it, or at least had these guys train while this is happening. Because what they do is have these characters not train for a long time. They don't train at all, or they barely train, and then they have some big threat and they need them to step up. So instead of, now there's no logical way to do it. So what they do is just have them either get angry and get a ridiculous power boost, or just train a bit and get a ridiculous power boost and stuff like that. It's like, if you're consistent and well written, you can make these stuff happen without having there be a problem. But they don't take that time to do it. If they, like I said, if they took the time to build up Boo's strength gradually throughout the story, then I would have been more fine with him beating somebody like Moro, especially with his abilities and his natural level of strength, being able to compete with Goku and Vegeta and stuff. Because Goku and Vegeta got, absorbed by him easily, and he bodied them. At full power, even in his old form, he's stronger than both Goku and Vegeta. That's how ridiculously powerful he is. But Boo steps in and starts stomping him, and Boo, prior to this, when he was fighting against, Beerus easily was dogging him. He was nowhere near Super Saiyan God Goku's level, so him unlocking memories is just a cheap way to do it. Personally, I felt like if they really wanted to do it and you don't want to make him stronger, just make him train consistently. He could have trained with like somebody like Piccolo. You could have had him train with Piccolo or, Gohan or somebody like that. Make him consistently get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger off screen. Just say he trained a lot. And it's more reasonable for him to get a ridiculous power boost from training than somebody like Frieza. So if he just trained, hard, or went into the hyperbolic time chamber and trained and stuff and got stronger, and then additionally unlocked the abilities of, the fatter Supreme Kai, Supreme Kai. I forgot what his name was. I think he was the North Kai. But if he unlocked his, or the Grand, or whatever his name was, if he unlocks his power on top of that, and then he got this insane power boost, and also was able to use it with his magical abilities, then I would have been fine with that, because we would have established he's constantly training here. He had a high power battle level, and he just increased it more with consistently fighting. And two, he was able to increase it even further by using that natural energy that he had from another guy, another divine being within him, and utilizing that. That would have been perfectly fine. I'm pretty sure not only me but other Dragon Ball fans would have been fine. But this just seems ridiculous, and it seems like I said, a lot of these problems could have been solved if they did it a smart way and not lazily. They just don't do anything with them for a long time until a major threat comes out of nowhere, which forces them to become, stronger, or just bullshit and say off screen they did this, basic ass training, which we've seen these guys train before. They've never gotten this insane jump of power just by simply training. So yeah, I'm not as mad because at this point it's just like, it's to be expected. I'm just disappointed because I feel like there's so many better ways they could have done it, but they just didn't want to take any time or effort into planning it out.
Moro's magic power cannot affect Boo, but Boo is overwhelming Moro, so I put Boo at least 1.25 times Moro's current full capabilities. And in case you're wondering how the hell Boo managed to absorb the Great Lord of Lords years ago, it's because after using up all of his god power, the Great Lord of Lords easily dropped to around 400 in this scale. That's how much god power he lost. Also, the Fat Boo has been given wonderful plot power-ups in Dragon Ball Super, so his body is a different build right now. Moro gets his wish to regain his full magic power. Boo states it's different from pure strength. So this is where I increase the magic buff multiplier from 1.5 times to a higher number, which I will explain in just a moment. Moro laughs at the Great Lord of Lords' futile attempts to hurt him. So even though his raw power didn't increase, his magic is so strong now that the Great Lord of Lords gets affected by Moro. Moro says the Great Lord's power is unimpressive, comparing it to 10 million years ago. He can't unleash the sealing spell without the god power. Now, Boo's body has a lot of raw power, but he cannot unleash the spell. It needs god ki in the mix as part of the type of ki for the technique. It even implies the god power that went into Kid Boo would have been sufficient in this circumstance, and we know that was only a single drop of god power remaining after the Great Lord of Lords used the rest of it to seal Moro away. So it's not how much god power he needs for the spell, it's just that he needs a bit of it for the spell ingredients. And Fat Boo has no god power. God power doesn't always make you stronger. Think of Dende. God power just makes you more divine and allows you some other special perks, but you can get stronger with it. Moro currently has the same magic.
Okay, so basically what he's explained, I didn't know this because like I said, I didn't follow it as closely. I just saw it once in a while and stuff and saw some cool stuff. I'm more I 100% closely followed the Granola arc, so I'm more in tune with that one. But so basically what I'm getting from it is actually the Fat Supreme Kai is significantly more powerful than when Boo absorbed him, but he used up majority of his godly energy to trap him away, which would be a decent argument, reasoning, or explanation from the writers, which I'll give them a little bit of credit there, because usually they just say, well, this character is now not that powerful, or this character that, so that makes sense. But the problem with that I have is, if he was that strong naturally, and it was because he sealed him away and he lost most of his godly power, then how come the other Supreme Kais weren't that ridiculously powerful? Because from what we've seen from the other Supreme Kais, they were not that impressive at all. Kid Buu easily bodied them, except for the South one, and even he was only decently powerful. He wasn't anything significantly powerful. So the fact that, his power was that high and it went down that low because he used up sealing godly, ability, and even if those other Kais wouldn't be obviously on his strength, why were they that underneath him? Why were they that below in power? It doesn't make sense consistency wise, that he was a Supreme Kai that was ridiculously more powerful than, he was ridiculously more powerful than the rest of his other Supreme Kais. Because if he didn't do that, he would have still been more, as powerful, or almost as powerful as Moro. But that's what I mean. It makes sense, the argument right there, where it's like, oh well, the reason why he wasn't that strong and got absorbed by Boo is because he used it up. But then when you think about it even further, it's like, well, then why are the other Supreme Kais significantly weaker? Did they do the same shit? Like, why are they that weak? They were weaker. What was so special about him? And then not him, only him. But what about the other, Supreme Kais? Or all these other Supreme Kais that are ridiculously powerful? We know they have different levels of power. Like, Zamasu was significantly more powerful than, Shinkai from, at the 7th universe. But even then, it was still more reasonable, like, length of power. I just think Shin was just ridiculously underpowered. And, Zamasu was just more naturally powered as a Supreme Kai should be. But, like, his power was nowhere near the level of him. So are the other Supreme Kais that are that powerful? Because I highly doubt they all dealt with a threat where they had to seal him away and use up most of their godly energy. So yeah, that doesn't really make much sense. It's kind of dumb. It makes sense for, like, I guess, the Boo absorbing him part, but the part of why was he so much more powerful than the rest of his Supreme Kais, and even the other ones from other universes, because technically, from what we've seen, the other ones didn't seem anything, like, special. They didn't seem like guys that could handle, Moro. Because if they could, then that means they could handle Goku and Vegeta, which is just ridiculous.
Is 10 million years ago, but he's not peak physical prowess due to still having that damn beard. Yes, he was nerfed pretty bad from the sealing technique. Now, out of nowhere, Goku and Vegeta confirm that with magic aside, they are stronger fighters and can beat Moro one-on-one at full power in Super Saiyan Blue. Vegeta is referring to his full power as in, not drained by magic. And he said both of them alone could beat Moro, so that means perfected Blue for Goku. So plot now requires Goku and Vegeta to have a stronger power in order to state this, despite Moro growing evidently stronger in this arc. This is what I warned you about with inconsistent writing. They don't care about scaling, yet will show moments when powers are altered. Things just happen. This makes Goku and Vegeta now both 40 times stronger than before, but if you want an inverse reason, they almost died from Moro's absorption. So let's reactivate the Zenkai boost exploitation because it's Namek after all. Whatever you want. Goku and Vegeta's perfected blue powers are 1.25 times stronger than Moro's raw power, but if we're accounting Moro's magic buff, it should be strong enough to deal with Blue Evolved easily at a 2 times domination multiplier because Vegeta has no hope alone against Moro and his magic. This makes Moro at 4 nonillion after his new magic multiplier rises from 1.5 times to 100 times after the wish. But the nightmare doesn't stop there because Moro then does the unthinkable and absorbs Goku and Vegeta again. This time sucking the life from their Super Saiyan Blue perfected forms until they can't even turn Super Saiyan. A 90% absorption success rate is being quite kind here, but regardless, Moro's raw power gets even goddamn stronger from the extra buff. But the nightmares don't stop there, because then he absorbs the rest of Namek until it's a wasteland. Another tier increase, and this is where Moro finally hits his peak physical prowess, confirming his completed physical recovery. This is the Moro from 10 million years ago. He finally reached peak, and the beard is gone. And remember, this was after he regained his full magic. So I believe I've done the reasonable thing in splitting up his raw power and magic power. which means we can work out the power of the Great Lord of Lords from all those years ago. In their original fight, Moro was easily overwhelming the Great Lord of Lords, so I initially have him at 1.5 times stronger, but when he consumes the planet, Moro becomes stronger to the point he can dominate the Great Lord of Lords, forcing him to use the sealing technique, so that's why energy absorbing gives him that tier boost of 1.25 times. As it said, if he absorbs another, they will be powerless, so it would be reasonable to put him in tanking ranges after that one. Before Moro was sealed, he was 1.75 times stronger. If the Grand Supreme Kai's power is roughly 12 nonillion, even if we stuck that onto Fat Boo right now, it still wouldn't be enough to stop Moro Prime. But he could seal him again if he had the God power. But Moro has earned it.
So what he's saying, okay, because I was, like I said, I didn't follow it, so I didn't know what happened. I saw South Kai right there, so I'm guessing the other Kais also helped him out. But from what he's stating is he still used the sealing magic. It didn't seem like they'd used it, so I don't know why they would get a power decrease. And if they were able to at least hang with him in the battle, not die, then how could Boo kill them, you know, all off? So that's still ridiculous. And even if, let's say, they all did it and they lost their power, why are they so strong? Because we saw the other Supreme Kais, they're not that strong. Look at somebody like Gowasu, who had, Zamasu there. Zamasu was able to easily kill him. Gowasu didn't seem ridiculously powerful at all. And if, their, Supreme Kai, who's the more older one, was that powerful, then why was he so weak? Also, why is the Elder Kai so weak? So it's just like, it's just weird. I don't like when they do this, when people retcon like this, where you've had a pre-established lore, and then you go with a newer lore and try to add into it. It can really contradict it. So because the previous lore we saw Boo take him down, and now we're trying to have him have relevancy to the story. But the only way to have him to have relevancy into the story is by making him ridiculously more powerful. And the only way to do that is to come up with some BS excuse instead of just not doing it. I felt like it would have been better if they just didn't do it in the first place. But also his ability, once again, I don't know why Goku and Vegeta would jump into the fray and fight somebody like this who's already shown that he has the ability to easily absorb their energy quickly and from a long range without even having to touch them or do anything. It's just idiotic. And it seems like it's coming to an end, so I'm assuming that he's going to have a part 2 to this, seeing as, I remember there's still quite a bit of towards the ending. But yeah, it just seems like a dumb plan. He seems like he has no OP abilities. It seems like he's not that powerful naturally. Actually he is very powerful naturally when he's maxed out. But before that, he wasn't that powerful naturally. It's just his magic. And then once he maxed out with his magic, he's crazy. But also I do agree that it's a good thing that he chose separated the magic and his power. Because magic and, regular ki power are two different things. Most Dragon Ball characters use ki, but there are characters that use magic and ki, like Dabura and Boo. The reason Boo was such a big threat was not only because he had a high ki, but especially his magical power. And the reason Dabura was a threat to Gohan and stuff was not because of his high ki, but his magical prowess. So yeah, let's get back into it.
And is now in full control. If you don't believe his power should be this high, think again. It's beat Gohan, Kefla, and UI Saiyan in the Tournament of Power. This is more than believable. This Moro could defeat everyone in the Tournament of Power, except for Full Power Ultra Instinct Goku and Jiren. But more importantly, the greatest power on the good guys team right now in this arc is Super Saiyan Blue Evolved for Vegeta at 2 nonillion. A lot of people forget or ignore this, but he carries the duo due to Goku not being able to tap into Ultra Instinct, and Goku only having Super Saiyan Blue perfected right now. Of course, we're not counting Gohan in the good guys team yet, guys. If Gohan was on Namek, he could be making a difference and could have punched Moro's beard down his throat. Moro the Beard Eater. But you know how it goes, guys. Gohan studying bugs and that, right? I guess, until the next time. We'll just see where we are in terms of Ultimate Gohan, Piccolo, and Ultra Instinct when the Moro arc arrives on planet Earth. Please hit that like button if you...
So that's it for this video. Great job to Saint Scholar. He did really great research. But one thing I will say is, from what I've seen for the manga or stuff, is these power-ups that these characters get, it seems like they're momentarily. What I mean is, they happen in that moment, but I think later on stories they kind of forget about it or try to push it away. And why I'm saying that is because he's saying that Gohan could beat up Moro. I don't think he would. Yes, in the Tournament of Power, from the scaling and from what it showed with his power jump, he logically would. But I think the way the writers write it is the fact that when it comes to certain, like if it's like, say, not a transformation like, his beast mode, if it's just a power-up, that power-up gives him a significant power jump, but only at that moment. After that moment, he goes back down to what he would normally be. So from, you know, in the Tournament of Power, I could that jump in power, I can see that it would say that would be reasonable to say, but I think after that his power went back down. So I don't think in the Moro arc he was that powerful. That's what I'm trying to basically convey, that in the Tournament of Power he had his power up to, you know, the scaling that he said, but I think once when they got to the Moro arc they put him way down, because the reason why I say that is when he was fighting against the other henchmen and stuff, he did not seem that powerful. He didn't seem like he was as powerful as he was shown in the manga, you know, in the Tournament of Power. Because he was struggling with, I think it was OG73. He was struggling against him, and that guy was significantly weaker than Moro. And Gohan was getting his ass whooped by him. All these other guys were getting their ass whooped by, you know, these other guys. So I don't believe that if Gohan was there, he would have beat him. Logically, he should have kept that power, but I think that the writing is so bad to the point that they just gave him that power boost because it was necessary that time and they didn't really constantly think. But once we get to the Moro arc, I don't think he has that power, because from what we've seen in his battles on Earth, especially against, you know, OG73, he does not do that good. He does not, Gohan really does not like showcase any power on that level. So I think that power scaling Dragon Ball Super, especially the manga, is very wonky to the point where it doesn't really make much sense, and you're going to get a lot of contradictions throughout the story itself. But yeah, I think it was a great video. It was enjoyable. I can't wait to see the next part. It seems like it's going to be crazy. It seems like he's going to be talking about the battle on Earth, so the rest of the characters' power, you know, powers, and like, you know, their scaling, and then also the final ends of the Moro arc, because the power scaling does jump in more ridiculous ways. Also, this is more complex and confusing than the other ones, because the other ones were just, oh, multiply their power, this and that, you know, match and then multiply. This one you also have to take in consideration not only his power but his magical aspect, and even though his power might not be that high, his magical prowess also, you know, extends out his ability, so he becomes even more powerful and dangerous. So it's a little more complex than, you know, most of the other arcs to do. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know you love these videos. Like I said, tell me any videos you guys want me to make. I will definitely make them, of its discussion videos or, you know, topic videos or reaction videos. I will do it because I want to produce the most the best likely content for you guys to view, because I want to give you guys stuff that you guys want. I don't want to just make videos that nobody's going to be watching. It's pointless to make videos that, you know, have only like a handful of views. I don't mind doing it if I have some interest, but I would still prefer to have videos that you guys would view, because I want to grow this channel. I want to grow the community. I want to hit that 500 mark where I get the community guidelines, community posts and stuff, so I can post for you guys and we can have more discussions about, you know, Dragon Ball and, you know, anime in general. If you guys want me to talk about another anime or other animes, because I know I've been heavily targeting just talking about Dragon Ball. If you want me to talk about other animes or other geek culture stuff like comics or fiction, I will definitely do that, because I love all forms of geek culture. It's just that Dragon Ball is my most favorite and the one I know the most. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.